one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Ms. Kelly, if you do roll call.
Larry Fidler,
Here.
Greg J,
Here.
Brandon Tanka, Bryce Howell,
Present.
Scott Stillwell.
Here. Okay, additions and deletions. I would like to delete 9B CSX Railroad. And then also add under new business, B11, Park Swing. And then under old business, settlement representative. After that, approval of minutes from the November 12th meeting. If I can have a motion?
Motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Claims and transfers.
From the general fund, $227,402.27.
A motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
From water, $46,608.53.
Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
From wastewater, $474,519.13.
Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Payroll, $78,311.98.
Motion?
Motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Utility Supply Company invoice number 1504326 in the amount of $3,455.93.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Baston Logan invoice number 19363 in the amount of $2,836.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Garing Concrete invoice number 202408. This is the amount of $17,295. This is for the basketball court. The park board already had approved this. The quote was a little bit lower than this. It was $16,400. There was a little bit extra because I think there was a little bit extra work that ended up being involved in that.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Town marshal.
You got your monthly packets this month. Had the parade of lights this week. It went well. We should be having a debrief on that pretty soon for a couple of things that I have a feeling we're going to have this every year now. So just a few security things that we had come up that we needed to discuss for next year. But other than that, everything's on board, full staff, and busy.
All right. Town manager.
231 water main extension, that is complete. That's the NDOT project, but it is complete. I-70 water main extension, we do have all easements for that. They have all been signed. HWC did provide you all with a update on these projects as well, so that should be in your packets. Okay, one thing we do need to determine on that project is how we want to go about getting a contractor. There are two options. One is the bid process, which has been traditionally done here, but in the wastewater project, we did do a BOT, which is build, operate, transfer, and that is an option as well. I think that he put information in there about both of those options. I think if you're ready to make a decision, we are ready to go to bid or select a contractor. BOT is where we select the contractor and then they go out and get the best prices they can. I could probably get Eric to be here to explain that better, unless you guys remember how we did it the last time, but there is a selection process where we have to advertise to get the contractor. I will tell you, I was happy with the BOT process last time. This is substantially less, this is only 1.5 million, where the last one was about 9 million, so. But we are ready, and we could do that pretty quickly, or if you want Eric to be here to explain it further, we can. Would like to move on it fairly quickly, but.
Council, what's your opinion?
What'd you call that?
BOT, build, operate, transfer.
I'm happy with that. I mean, that's what we did last time.
Yes, it worked out fairly well.
I think Kelly was happy with it, I was happy with
It's
it.
going well.
I'll make the motion to go with the BOT. Oh, sorry, you're right.
I'll make
First time doing this.
I'll make a motion that we go with the BT. BOT.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
We'll get the documents ready to move on that. The legal wastewater project, that is basically done with the exception of a few projects that we're gonna start back up in the spring when we get a few more of the contingency. When we know what the contingency money is gonna be, we'll start that back up, but we're really, really close to being finished on that. The ballot press filter, did we not, we did not make a decision on that. We did have an offer of 10,000 last time. And I know that they've asked around and we've not gotten another offer on that. So if you're willing to accept 10,000, declare it surplus and then accept the $10,000 offer. I know we discussed this briefly at the last meeting.
If no one else has made us an offer and it's been a month,
Motion to go ahead and accept the 10,000 and move it.
do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Stormwater project.
Wait, sorry, back to the, so you're gonna declare surplus.
Yeah, so the 10,000.
Yeah.
For the
I think we need to advertise and accept bids on that. You just can't sell to somebody that comes to you, so they will buy. Yeah. So I think you need to advertise, you can make a motion to
Make it surplus.
make it surplus, and then just advertise it and accept it at the next meeting. Bring it.
Do I have a motion to accept council's opinion?
And I'll motion that we go ahead and advertise it and take bids.
Second.
Determine it's surplus property.
Determine it's surplus property.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
I will get you a notice. Once I figure out what that was in the packet.
Yes.
So, and we'll just open up bids. Are we gonna have a meeting? Was it January?
And that'll be January, I don't know,
14th, I think.
something like
Yeah.
that.
As soon as Jason returns, we'll continue.
Yeah.
So we are at the annexation.
Okay, well, did we do stormwater project or did you?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Stormwater, we are almost completely done with that. There may be a couple little things to mop up, but it's 99.9% complete. Annexation, I do not have anything to update except I know that it's still in process. Baker Tilly's still working on that. Monon Avenue, I did send this to you today. United Consulting did get a survey complete, survey work complete. Monon has some issues. We are going to meet on Friday with them to discuss options. Whether we're gonna need land acquisition, which I think we probably will if we're gonna do it the proper way. But there are also some conflicts with CSX Railroad as well, in some areas down there. So just working on some of that preliminary stuff. This is a project that's gonna take a while to finally get at least in land acquisition and then at some point go into CCNG. So just kind of updating you there. I did send you that. It's in your emails today. I sent it late this afternoon. So. The next thing we have is the Okra Income Survey and Environmental Impact. We have met with Eric Smith on doing a water project. And one thing that we're required to do is an income survey. We've not had to do that before because our low and moderate income has been over 50%. In July, we got new numbers. The feds do this and they'll send out what our numbers are for the town of Cloverdale. We're now under 50% low to moderate income, which means to apply for an Okra grant, if we want to apply for an Okra grant, and this isn't just for this one, but if we want to do any in the next, I believe it's 2 years, we have to have an income survey showing that we have low to moderate income. So to do that, we actually have to do a income survey. There is a contract from Mike Klein Peter, which is who we've used on this stormwater project, if we want to do a water, or any project, but specifically a water project is one we've been talking about doing. So there's two parts to it, but then the second part, we need to do an environmental impact. We did have to do an environmental impact review on the stormwater project. So these are two things that we have to do before we even get moving on an Okra project, if we decide we're going to do one. The income survey is just one we've not had to do before, but that changes in July. Now, the next time they do that survey, we may be back over 50%. And if we're above 50%, we wouldn't have to do an income survey. But how the income survey will work is if we hire Mike Klein Peter to do that, he will get a list of all of our customers. He'll send a letter out to a certain percentage of the folks in Cloverdale, and we'll be inquiring about their income. You don't have to put the exact numbers, and it's confidential as well, so people aren't going to tell people what their income is. But there's a process, but it's pretty lengthy, so he'll do a mailing. Then he can do a second mailing, and then maybe you have to go to door because you have to have a percentage of them to qualify for the income service. So it's a lengthy process. There's a lot of work to it. But that contract is in your packets, and do you know what that amount was? It was like 3,500 maybe, or was that the environment? 3,500? I was thinking 35.
I think the one is 35, I think.
That
Yes.
includes if they have to go door to door, correct?
Correct. So.
And the environmental study is also, I think is the environmental study. There's two, the second part is $5,000.
Okay.
That's not
This, at least initially, I think this would be a water project. We have had conversations with Eric about a water project. We've kind of pared it down to, and we'll be prepared to bring it to the council fairly soon. We've been working with Richard, Brad, Eric, and then also Kelly and I have been involved in these meetings as well to come up with a $1 million, $1.1 million, $1.2 million project, something like that, where we think we can fund it ourselves without increasing rates, also without adding any debt. So we're trying to put a project together where we're going to get $700,000 for a $1.1-ish million project, something in that range. So that's kind of what we're doing. It includes, again, this isn't for the discussion tonight, but just kind of give you an idea of why we're going with the Okra income survey and environmental impact. Mostly would include improvements at the water plant, some of those big expenditures that I've told you that we're going to have to do fairly soon. But also it would finish the 10-inch water main on what we've been calling Heyman Road, Heyman Way, because there's that little section there, and then there's another little section east from the water tower up to Beagle Club Road. So there's two sections that we really need to finish. it would include those sections as well. So what we're asking for tonight is just to move forward to the point where we can actually go for one of those projects. We'll bring that project to you fully so you can see all what it involves. But we've been working on that for the last 2 or 3 months, trying to get a project that we can afford, and will improve our system so that our ratepayers don't have to pay for some of these big expenses down the road. So the only thing I'm really asking for tonight is just to proceed with an income survey and environmental impact, if that's what you would like to proceed with.
We have a motion for council.
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Asphalt repairs, I was really hoping to have a answer for you on this, but we don't. I keep being told that it's going to happen this week. I was kind of hoping it was going to happen today, but since even then, we've had 2 more cuts in the road too that we have to repair too. So we do have a contract with Wallace to make these repairs with cuts that we've made all over town. I'm hoping it's still going to be done this week. I was told the plants will close, or at least the plant north of town will close on the 20th. So we've got a few days to get this done. So I know there are spots around town that we'd all like to have fixed. So, and I was hoping that I was going to tell you it was done and it wouldn't be on the next agenda, but it looks like it will be.
I'll send my alignment bill to you.
Well, there's nothing that's necessarily unsafe or probably going to cause any damage.
Yeah,
It's just
no.
more of an inconvenience than
Yeah.
anything. But we even cut the road, cemetery road just yesterday,
Yeah,
so we
yeah,
added
yeah.
another one to it, so. Backhoe repair, backhoe is in the shop. We sent it off about 3 weeks ago. We got an estimate about a week ago, and I had a conversation with Brandon. Obviously, it's a piece of equipment we have to have. And we did authorize to proceed with that. We just wanted to, Kelly, do you want them to approve that repair tonight, or how do you, that expenditure?
They can either approve the quote, or they can wait till if they approve the quote, that's fine, unless it comes out.
Just oil cooler and miles.
The,
Seals, looks like there's some kind of seals.
yeah, the accelerator pedal sticks,
Got it.
that's the concern I have for her. Replace oil cooler, roof, condition stick cylinder, recondition swing cylinder, remove and install throttle. All that is $6,847.04. I did have that conversation again with Brandon last week, and obviously it's something we have to have. And
Is the oil cooler, is that, the same thing as our dump truck at this point in time? Was that causing the issues, or what's our issue?
that I don't know.
Well, McAllister's would know. Do I have a motion?
Motion to go ahead and accept the quote.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, then, we'll go to item number 11, the Parks District.
The park swing, we ended up taking the swing set that was out there out when we erected the basketball court. It was obviously an older swing set that I'm sure has been out there for 50 years probably. We did remove that. The park board did agree to erect a new swing set, and I actually have pictures here. This all happened this afternoon when we made that decision. It would be a swing similar to that. It's not a very good picture, I understand, but if you want to pass those around. That's the type of swing set that we would have, or would install. It would include 2 just regular swings, just the belt seat swings like you would see, but it would also include a infant seat, which is the type that has the front and the back and keeps them light, and then handicap accessible swing. So it would be 4 swings that would replace the one we have. The estimate that we have is $7,539, but that's minus the 2,568. I didn't add that up, I thought. But all total, we still have 1,494 in this year's budget. But we think this may not even get paid till next year anyway. So this really doesn't matter. But the park board does have $6,726.58 in park donation still available for this year, and $1,346, I believe, or at least according to Alyssa, that's what she said was donated. But we're still trying to figure that out for sure, I guess.
Yeah, they have enough money in their donation fund and in what they've been planning on buying new equipment, and they've been saving, and so they have enough money to cover all of that. That's what they've been planning for.
So they do have the money. It's just typically something you guys, they have voted and approved to do this. My guys will do the installation once it comes in. Would like to have it done, obviously, before spring. So that's kind of why I'm bringing it to the council now to try and get moving on this. Originally, I thought we might try to do it so it comes out of this year's budget, but Kelly feels comfortable with us just going into next year's. It's not approved until
That
January.
is just for, is this just a strip?
Yes, it's 4 swings, just like that picture, but it's 4 swings. 2 would just be the belt swings, and then the other 2 would be one infant and then 1 handicap. So it's 4 swings, so you're right,
What was that, 5,500?
you're right at 5,000. This,
But we do have the money to cover it in the
Yes.
budget.
yes, this, and I will say this brand is the exact same brand of the, that's why I went with them, it's the same brand as what we had out.
It's commercial grade, it's not residential, so that's the price.
They are also, this guy that represents this company is gonna come out. We've got some issues with some of the equipment out there where their parts probably need to be replaced off that jungle gym, and that could be considered safety issues. So he's gonna come out and look at that also, but right now, we're just looking at moving forward with this swing.
Got a motion.
All motion, we go ahead and move forward.
Got a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, clerk treasurer.
You've got all your monthly reports in your packet. Close to year end, everything looks fine. We received what we thought we would, and the spending is good. So we should have money to move to rainy day as we were planning for next year. That's all I have, unless you guys have any questions.
Okay. Gonna move to old business. First thing there is the utility software upgrade we've talked about for a couple of months now. It's all in your guys' packet. Annual fee of $11,996. Obviously, is gonna allow the town to have a lot more freedom as far as bill pay and things of that nature, and also free up a lot of time for Kelly. It's my opinion we should move forward with this. If any questions, I'm sure Kelly can answer them. But other than that, looking for a motion to go ahead and move forward with the software upgrade.
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, new road name. Last month, we talked about naming it Heyman Way, because Eric is the one that is gifting this to the town. He has made it known that he doesn't want it named after him. Greg came up with a name that I think is pretty good. Greg, if you'd like to share that name, or if there's anyone else that has an opinion of what we should name that road, but Eric has made it known he doesn't want it named after him, so we need to come up with a name.
I thought Gateway it's the gateway to Cloverdale, so I thought that was a good starting point. Gateway Boulevard.
Does anybody else have an opinion?
I like it.
All right, all in favor of naming it Gateway Boulevard? Do I have a motion?
All motion, we name it Gateway.
Second.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
That was a Gateway or Gateway Boulevard?
Gateway Boulevard.
For clarification, this is just the section going west. 231, correct, not what Beagle Club.
No, just the new section.
2025 board appointments. The first one is the redevelopment commission. That is a president appoint. With Jason, or Brandon not being here, we have not had anybody else step up to want to take over. Larry has said that he would go ahead and be on for another year. So I'm going to go ahead and appoint Larry to that position. BZA Town Council appointment. We do not have anybody at this current point that has stepped up to fill that position. So if you have any interest in the BZA, please contact Kelly, Brandon, or I guess for tonight, myself. The Putnam County Convention and Visitors Bureau, that is a town council appointment. Laura Hatton has said that she is not interested in coming back on for this term. It is my recommendation to the council that we appoint Mr. Jason Hartman to that position. So just need a motion to appoint Jason to that position.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, new business. The 2025 meeting schedule will just be pretty much the same as this year, so not really a lot to talk about there. Meetings will still be the same dates that we have unless Kelly has any.
There is a couple that were different. One council meeting, the council meeting in November was changed to the third Tuesday because the second Tuesday was a holiday. And then redevelopment, 2 of their meetings were changed to the third Thursday as well because of holidays in November and December. So that's the only change. The rest of them are the second Tuesday for council.
Are you staying at 7 o'clock?
Yeah. Do we need to make a motion on that?
Yeah, you gotta approve the date.
Okay. Motion.
Motion.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
9C, readdressing. I will let Jason kind of speak on this, but basically there are several roadways, especially within the Stardust community, where the road names and pathways are very, very similar. That gets confusing for our law enforcement, for our ambulance crews, fire, but looking at kind of hiring a company to readdress that and see where we can make it easier for our fire, EMS, police, things of that nature. So I'll let Jason speak on that just a little bit.
Yeah, there are actually 2 parts to the readdressing. One is potentially similar street names. And I'll preface this by saying the county is actually going through this process as well. They're working with WTH, which is their GIS provider, which is also our GIS provider as well. So we've had conversations with both WTH and the county. And we just kind of think this may be the time to make some corrections to our addressing system. So there are 2 parts to it. One, first I'll start with the numerics. The numerics throughout Cloverdale, we've got some serious issues. Sometimes we've got a 52 East, I'm just making this up, 52 East Market Street. The next house is 54 East Market Street. The next house is 50 East Market Street, where it should be 56. So they're not in sequential order. So we've got issues like that, but also people will build houses on lots that he didn't think that someone was going to build on, and we just had that happen, as a matter of fact, with the duplexes. We don't have the ability to address that correctly, the duplexes on Lewis Drive, because we've got in that case, it's a 52, and the next house is 54, so there's nowhere to put them. There was a vacant lot, but there's no way to fix that. Well, the county is actually going through a whole new process where they're going to do this countywide. And I think this is the perfect opportunity for us to get on board with this and potentially fix some of those. Also, we've got some excuse me, even and odd numbers that are on the opposite sides of the streets from what they should be. You know, sometimes the odds are on the south side, sometimes they're on the north side. So we've got this throughout town. I mean, I could probably rattle off 25 places that I'm aware of. And there's probably twice that many that we've got problems with this addressing. So I don't know how quickly we need to do this. Obviously this is something that's gonna take us some time, and we wanna make sure we have it right. But WTH is going to work with us on this if we decide we're gonna move forward with it. I don't have any numbers to do it, or what the cost is going to be for something like this. But I don't think it's gonna be really that expensive because the county's already doing it. They're doing this based on GPSing rather than just throwing numbers out. So it would be designed so that there may be gaps, but they're designed to be that way. So if something's ever built in between them, or if a house is ever divided up into a duplex or something like that. But we've got these issues all over town, and it is an issue, number one, for law enforcement, for fire, ambulance. It's also a problem for UPS and FedEx and anybody that does deliveries, because our addressing is not correct. I will say with regards to Stardust, that's a little bit different. It's not necessarily addressed with where each side of the road would be evens or odds. They're all in order. The streets at Stardust also don't go north and south, they curve around, so it's a little more difficult to address it. I don't think the numerics would address or really change Stardust much, maybe not at all. But that's something we would look at the same time. But I think Stardust with regards to the numerics would probably stay the same. It's just kind of the rest of the what we call the old part of town. Now, the other part of it is, and I had Kelly send this to you in your packets. We do have multiple similar named streets in town, and I know it has been an issue before. I don't know if this is something you'd want to address. I will say that Lisa Ziner, which is the one that is overseeing the street addressing for the county, has brought this to our attention. It's something that they recommend you address. Address is kind of a bad word to use here. To consider. And these are the streets that I am aware of, and there may be some more that I've just not given thought to. These are just ones I've been thinking about. But we've got a Lazy River Road, Lazy River Court, Lazy River Place, Stardust Road, Stardust Way, Stardust Place, Stardust Court, Cool Evening Road, Cool Evening Court, Blue Side Way, Blue Side Court, Blue Side Place, Frost Place, Frost Way, Old Rocking Chair Place, Old Rocking Chair Way, Playway and Play Court. But then actually in the old part of town we have Lewis Drive and Lewis Street. And there have been confusions. Adam, you probably dealt with that as well.
Well, and even when I was still working at the arena, and Donald, just a second, the amount of, and I'm sure he's seen it more than anyone, the amount of semis, for some reason, if you have an Android, you type in the arena, you type in C-bar-C, it takes you in the middle of Stardust, is where it takes you. So, I mean, there are some confusion there, but go ahead, Don.
I would ask that this be tabled for the present time. I was totally unaware of this presentation in any way, shape, or form.
No, we're not making any decisions.
I'm not objecting to it, but I think that there's a lot more to this than just the town board addressing this problem, and the fact that the Postal Service must be involved because they deliver the mail.
Correct.
And they go by these addresses.
We're not making any decisions tonight, Don. It's just that it's been brought to our attention, especially the county and Greencastle's going through this at this point in time.
Well,
So-
Greencastle needs to stay in Greencastle.
And we're not making any decisions tonight. It's just being brought up as something that could be a possibility. So we're not making any decisions tonight.
Well, I certainly need to be involved.
This is something that will be months
Yeah.
to be addressed if we do decide to proceed with some changes. This just makes sense to, if we're going to do a readdressing for the numerics, this is brought to our attention that this is something that we might want to consider at the exact same time. I would guess that we're going to be still talking about this in July of next year. So there's going to be plenty of time for the public to have input. There will be a lot of public input, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Because this is going to be a change that would affect a lot of people. But ultimately, it truly is for safety. It is confusing. I mean, I still run into it with my guys from time to time. And these guys know the streets better than anything, but they may get a work order for an address on Blue Side Way, and they're on Blue Side Court.
Well, in my house, you type in my address to GPS, it didn't come up.
It's because you're not there.
Yeah.
This is purely to,
Just informative.
we were
Yep.
bringing this to the front, no intentions of making any changes. We don't even know what we would make the changes to. This is just to start the discussion and let you know that the county is it, and if at some point we decide we want to, we'll probably need to have a more in-depth conversation, and I can bring not only the county that's doing their addressing, but WTH, which actually would be able to help us with this project. This is purely just to bring it, yeah, the issue forward, and we can chat with the contractors that would be dealing with this, and if you decide you want to move forward, we'll work on it. I'm guessing over the next several months, not a year. It could take a while to get something like this done. So this is a big, big project.
All right, thank you, Jason. At this point in time, I'm going to open it up to any citizen comments. Yes, sir.
My name is William Fowler. I've been here for 20 years as an outlier. So the only thing I'm really here that involves you and me is water. And so in the 20 years, you guys have never been stiffed by us. I find that for this one pass this week, that I was fined $75 in order to turn on water. My wife has multiple medical issues, and she finds out that it doesn't matter, I assume, that even if the penny is not paid, that you're gonna fine people $75?
So all I will say, and I'll bring up an example of myself, unfortunately. We have rules and regulations that the town in the past has put in place. I was working a horse show in Georgia for 3 weeks and just wasn't home. Did the same thing you did. Didn't have my mail. They had to turn my water back on. I had to pay the $75 fee as well. If we waive it once, we've got to waive it every time. And that's my personal opinion. Obviously, council can.
But you have to treat every customer the same.
And that's, did I want to pay the $75, and especially sitting up here and being vice president of the council? It was my mistake. I was out of town for a horse show, came home, went to turn on the water, didn't have any water. And then I knew it was the end of the month, and I was like, well, crap, I didn't pay any bill. So we've got to treat every customer the same, unfortunately. And, you know, it's not unfair to, obviously, you've been a great customer for 20 years, great member of the community, but that doesn't change you from anyone else, me included. So that is.
So again, if for some reason somebody makes a 10-cent error on what they pay, then you're gonna go ahead and charge them $75 to turn on water again. Is that what you're gonna do?
Well, I don't think it's necessarily making a 10% error, sir. I think you know what.
What is it?
Well, I mean,
I have no idea what the rules are.
If the water is disconnected, then to get it
What are you-
to get it reconnected,
When?
every customer has to pay the $75 fee.
Good. But,
And the reason for that is because you want to treat all customers the same. The other thing is, so is 10 cents okay, but $1's too much? That's why it's just, you've got to just set a set of rules and follow them, so there's not all these, they were late, it just keeps it simple. You just treat all customers the same, and you follow policies and procedures you have in place.
except when you have elderly folks who can't get around, who have medical conditions, you have no thought for that. So again, unfortunately, the big cities do have thought for that. So the idea is you're a little out of date, to go ahead and shut off the water for that. Yep, it's an error, 20 years in the making, so similar to you. But the idea is, we're the rules. You may have that, but that's not out there in the general public. How many times have people actually shorted it 10 cents? Did you really shut them off?
If they haven't paid their bill, well, I don't have the policy as far as our procedure, but if you don't pay.
If the computer generates a non-payment balance owed, it's generated by the computer on the due date. And there are times in place for that, of when that takes
But
effect.
we don't shut it off the first day, it's like.
It's, no, it's 3 o'clock, it's written out in our policy. Must be received by 3 o'clock, same day.
Same day as?
Reconnection made after 3 o'clock will occur the next business day. So you have guidelines. The water department has guidelines as to when those disconnect notices go out.
Well, and you also get your bill.
You also get a notice of a disconnect. So you have multiple chances to realize, oh, it's not like we just, it's due on the 12th, and we're out at 6 o'clock on the 12th, shutting people off. We send you a notice saying it's going to be disconnected since you didn't pay. So you've got multiple chances as a reminder to pay. So I guess the question, so how many times should we notify you or call you to remind you to pay your bill that you've been paying for 20 years?
Same reason. You have a life outside of this building, right? And so the idea is in 20 years, then basically you go ahead and have that. So, yeah, similar to, you're too busy to do things, but
Yep.
the idea is.
If I'm not mistaken though, we don't require you to come to this office and pay. You can pay online, correct?
Yep, you can pay online, you can pay by phone, and that's the thing, and we're just gonna end the conversation there.
No, we're not in it yet. I'm not done.
Well, I'm gonna make you done, because at the end of the day, same thing happened to me as the vice president of the town council. I was out of town for 3 weeks. There are rules and guidelines that are right here that you can access. And I understand that you've been a 20-year client. We appreciate your business, but I had to do the same thing as long as everyone else on this board would have to do the same thing if they did it. So at that point, unless there's any other citizen comments not regarding this
No, I got other
issue,
points to make.
I'm telling you, sir, we are done now.
No, we're not. The idea
Okay,
is.
any other citizen comments? This meeting is adjourned.
Let me tell you.
Wait a minute.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
You're